So last week, I made a video where I was talking about the 7.2 million working age men who have dropped out of the workforce. They're not working and they're not looking. And then I contrasted it with the wider society of women dropping out of the dating pool and opting out of marriage and having babies. I combined it because men not working and they're in their prime age will impact women's dating and marriage options. It really will. Now, the whole 7.2 million men dropping out of the workforce is not something that I create. You can literally Google 7.2 million men not working, and articles dating back to 2022 will pop up. You can literally look this up. There are pages and pages like September 2023, the disturbing trend of men leaving, Mike Rowe, the missing 7.2 million male workers, Yahoo Finance, USA Today. In 2022, the New York Post said the disturbing rise of NILFs, men not in the labor force. So this is not something that I created, but the men came to my page and wanted to do personal attacks on me as if I'm the one that created this number and this narrative. When I go to Google and type in women not in the workforce, you don't see women being in this crisis according to what I found. A deep dive, women in the workforce, navigating social norms to empower Iraq's female workforce, women re-entering the workforce, expanding women's access to male-dominated jobs. Women have returned to the workforce. Now, you see, they're talking about women trying to get back in the workforce after they have dropped out. And you know that there are different reasons why women drop out of the workforce. Now, here was my video from last week. I titled it The Great Shift, Men Leaving the Workforce and Women Going Boysober. And I was talking about this video, and I was talking about how another content creator was saying that men are relaxing as the world collapses. I was literally just talking about his video. He was talking about men being minimalist and just relaxing, and they're just going to watch the world fall, and men just need their video games and they can just chill. Now let's talk about some of these comments. This man was talking about passport bros for life, hashtag soft guy era. So he's going to be a passport bro with no money. Heyru Apocalypse says, no more being labor workhorses, caped crusaders, and walking ATMs. Wilberforce says, start treating men that ain't working like men who ain't working. It's Spanish indigenous men who will gladly take their places. Now, we got Stoner Bar saying, why talk about men if you hate them? Me talking about the men falling out of the workforce means that I hate them. Your frequency is all off. Too much hate. This might be something deeper if you have time to have such hate. So me talking about men falling out the workforce makes me hateful. Mel C. Foster says, your information is so off, it's sad. You need to do more research. Once men don't go to work, you will have a fallen economy. You don't sound educated enough to make an opinion based on fact. Besides, most women don't do the same jobs as men, even in the military, and it shows. Do more research, ma'am, and make sure it's based on facts. He didn't provide any facts or any sources or anything. He just let me know that I don't know stuff. And the crazy thing is, I can easily find this stuff. Why are they so pinpointing on me like I did something? This person says, funny how they want to be like men all the time. They don't have a mind of their own. Women are on a timer. Men are not and can go global. Passport kings are most definitely winning. Work on yourself for yourself and get a passport, guys. Yes, all we are feminist man haters. That's it. Winter is coming. They've been saying winter is coming for a few years now. One-eyed lion says women are starting to abstain. I had to circle that for that reason. After men are no longer paying attention to them. Yeah, it's really a trend. Mike Crude says women are just becoming better slaves to the system, and y'all are over the moon about it. The more educated you are, the better slave you'll be. The reward for good work is more work. Women have been sold a dream. Men are waking up from theirs. That's why a lot of men are angry, because they've realized everything they've been taught was a lie, aka as red pill rage. Okay. Then Hot Trod 991 says, even when we're out the way, y'all still have a problem with men, and y'all movement stems from y'all copying men. Y'all are ridiculous. So that's just a few of the comments. This is definitely more men than I usually get on my pages, but that they felt a way about me talking about this. I am going to talk about this article from Business Insider from June 9th. This is titled, A Shortage of Young Men in the Workforce Could Weigh on Housing, Social Security, and Growth for Years to Come. The bullet points, the declining workforce participation among younger men could weigh on the U.S. economy for years. The trend could be a drag on economic growth, housing, and social security funds. The effects could last decades. There are no clear ways to spark a turnaround. And look at this graphic they used, this sad and despondent man. America's job market is mysteriously short of young men. It's a trend experts say will drag on the economy and could take years to fix, mainly because men have been dropping out of the workforce for decades. According to Carol Graham, a senior fellow of economic studies at the Brookings Institute, the labor force participation rate of prime age working men has been declining over the last 20 years. Today, 11% of men aged 25 to 54 don't have a job and aren't looking for one, more than triple the percentage recorded in 1955, when just 3% were out of the workforce, according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, when the men come to my page, they can look this stuff up at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is not something that I am creating. That amounts to around 7.2 million prime working age men who aren't working. That's introduced a host of problems for the economy, leaving key industries understaffed and adding to the strain on government services and social safety nets, Graham and other experts told Business Insider. Some of them drop out of college and are just sort of forlorn and have no purpose or meaning in life. They're not very likely to be married. They're very likely to be living in their parents' basement. They're lonely, they're isolated. The economic burden can also compound through generations, she added, given that men who have exited the workforce tend to be lower income and are more likely to report mental and physical health problems, which impact their children's ability to build wealth. Zach Mabel, a research professor at Georgetown University, theorizes that falling labor force participation among young men could impact the economy for at least several decades. At this point, it's a trend over the course of multiple decades that does not appear to be improving and could have real long-term consequences. Straining the economy. The economy appears to already be feeling the decline in male workforce participation. Despite the small post-pandemic rebound, the U.S. GDP per employee fell 1% in 2022, the first decline seen since the World Bank began recording productivity data over 30 years ago. The overall labor force participation rate, meanwhile, has slumped to 62%. Besides the years following the pandemic, the U.S. workforce participation rate hasn't been that low since the 1970s. The trend could weigh on key industries like infrastructure and manufacturing, where women are often less likely to seek work due to social stigma, Mabel said. That means it could be hard for those industries to find workers, which is a big problem considering the need for labor in growing areas like semiconductors. In a situation where you have millions of men foregoing college and as a result are less productive and less able to hold a stable job, yes, that certainly would raise concerns. Our national productivity would suffer as a result. And while the housing market may be booming now, it is also possible that men leaving the labor force will weigh on that market as well. Meredith Whitney, a longtime Wall Street forecaster, predicts home prices could drop as much as 30% over a period of years, thanks to men working less, being less interested in starting families, and being more likely to live with their parents. Those trends weigh on household formation, which is the most important factor in determining home prices over the long term. I'm going to end on this point. 42% of men who have exited the workforce live with at least one parent. So me connecting it with the women that are opting out of relationships makes sense because these men are not going to be accepted or acceptable partners because how could they be? Anyways, like this person says, this is a seismic shift in social structure. This, along with women deciding to go child-free, is going to really impact this economy as a whole. And I really wonder where we're going to end up. Like, comment, and share.